I'm an idiot.
The DCEU is 10 years old, but sadly it feels more broken than ever. So how did we get here? Well, I think there's 3 rules that make a good movie franchise, and DC broke all of them. Starting off with the first, commit to the vision. In 2013, DC had just finished their stellar Dark Knight trilogy, and with the exception of some oversights, was actually coming off a high for the brand. So when they hired Zack Snyder to direct their Superman reboot, they still had a lot of brand loyalty. That's why, despite the critics bashing those first 2 films, they still did pretty well at the box office. At this point, DC still had a vision. Maybe it wasn't everyone's favorite, but they'd mapped out a plan. They even had 3 Justice League movies on the cards and were already setting it up. But they got scared and they dumped all that in favor of a reworked, mishmash job that bungled their first chance at a big superhero team-up.
Do you bleed?
The problem here is that DC couldn't commit to the vision, even when fans were still showing up. And this isn't about restoring the Snyderverse either, because even after they took a new direction post-Justice League, they couldn't even commit to that new vision. I mean, Aquaman was their biggest ever hit, but even then they still couldn't commit to the vision, because again and again, they cancelled project after project, rebooted, offshooted, reshooted, parallel universed a bunch of different stories, until audiences just didn't know what to expect anymore, so people stopped showing up. I mean, you can blame superhero fatigue, but you only need to look at the Batman and Joker to see that DC can succeed, and the reason those succeeded is because audiences knew what to expect from them. Batman is DC's bread and butter. They've delivered on a solo Batman movie before, so audiences knew that they could deliver again. So if people liked some of the things they did, then surely DC would just listen to them, right? Well, that's where they broke rule number 2. Listen to the fans. In fact, they've proven they're willing to lie, mislead, and disappoint their fans again and again. Sadly, the best example is a recent one.
Ow!
In 2007, DC tried to make a Shazam movie, and they cast The Rock as Black Adam.
You were so amped to be Black Adam. I know you were talking about that.
I'm sure the movie eventually will get made.
Now, more than 15 years later, they've not only made 1, but 2 Shazam movies, and a separate Black Adam movie, and the 2 characters still have not met. Ask any DC fan, and they'd tell you that these 2 are the Joker to each other's Batman. And given that I don't think DC actively hate their fans, I'd just say that they're really bad at listening. Perhaps the worst irony here is that the person mostly responsible for this couldn't stop saying,
Listening to the fans of listening to the fans.
Listen to the fans. You gotta listen to the fans.
well, Dwayne, here we are on the cusp of a reboot, and the most obvious thing that could have happened didn't happen because you wanted to keep Black Adam and Shazam separate and refused to appear in Shazam 2. Okay, that was harsh. Like I said, DC doesn't hate their fans. In fact, I think in some ways they do a better job of pleasing their fans because they get one thing right most of the time, which is rule number 3, tell good stories. Okay, I lied. They didn't break this rule totally. The best part of most recent DC productions has been the stories. The Suicide Squad was amazing because of its great script. Zack Snyder's Justice League was epic because of its intricately woven tale. And so was the magical kid wonder of Shazam because of the emotional family story at the heart of it. But despite getting all of these right, they got one story hugely wrong. The story of DC's brand. They tell great stories, but their brand identity isn't tied together in any way. I mean, after 10 years of great storytelling, it looks like the DCEU, in its current form at least, is coming to an end, with 4 movies coming out and then a soft reboot on the horizon. It might not even get a real conclusion. Sure, The Flash looks like a fantastic film and will serve as a love letter to the story's past, but then Aquaman 2 is just kind of there. Aquaman was even supposed to have Batman and Wonder Woman show up, but now that got taken out because of the reboot.
The true beginning of the DCU.
It just seems like anytime DC really gets going, they get stopped in their tracks. So I hope one thing is clear in this new era. DC needs to keep telling good stories, but they need to get their own story right too. Luckily, the head honcho gets this.
Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us.
So maybe the DCEU never died at all. Maybe it just got reincarnated as the new DCU. Wait, that means they're not fully committing to the vision again, doesn't it? No, this time it'll be fine, I promise. The DCEU isn't dead just yet. Long live the DCU.